Hey everybody, DeLongshot Signatures here. This is part 2 of my college football coaching autograph collection. This is K through Z of all the head coaches that I've been able to get photos on. I think there's maybe one or two assistant coaches in this part of the collection, but just a real quick reminder, I have 263 total coaches that I know of that have coached at least one game or will be coaching their first game this season. This does not include all of them, nor does the previous video. I have some on cards or on photos for different collections, but I'm keeping all the ones with their college, gear on or during their time at the collegiate level. So we're going to start off here with Kalen DeBoer. Got him while he was with Fresno State. He is now the Washington head coach. Got Kane Womack, who I think is the South Alabama coach. Carl Dorrell of Colorado. Casey Keeler of Sam Houston State. He has won 2 FCS titles, and I think he has over 200 wins now. So whenever he decides he's done, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. Ken Niumatalolo of Navy. Kerwin Bell, former NFL quarterback as well. Kevin Callahan. Kevin Donnelly, he is the only active NAIA head coach that I have, I think, of St. Francis of Indiana. He is in the top 5 in wins all time. He has the most wins of any living coach, active or non-active, and it looks like he's going for another season, so this should be his 43rd, I think, coaching football. Last year's national champion Kirby Smart of Georgia. It was funny because with that return, I received a big folded up packet about how there was a section that was highlighted about how they can't accept individual fan mail for autographs and everything, and it came with 2 photos autographed from the head coach. So I thought that was really funny. Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz. I think he could be a future Hall of Famer. The only thing that hurts his resume for the induction is that he has below a 600 win percentage, which, again, I don't really believe that kind of thing should exist to limit head coaches, especially those who maybe take over a program that isn't doing so hot and aren't able to make it up later in their career, because everything else he's accomplished is absolutely legendary. But maybe he'll be able to make it back up before he finishes his tenure. Then we have Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham. Lane Kiffin, where does he coach now? Is he the Ole Miss coach? I feel like he's the Ole Miss coach. Hall of Famer Larry Karras, Hall of Fame in 2017. I believe he has 11 Division III championships, has the highest winning percentage of any college football coach for, I think, like minimum 100 games coached or whatnot, but it doesn't matter because this dude won. He had multiple undefeated seasons, like an absolutely legendary coach. Larry Marmie, he's also a longtime assistant coach in the NFL. Lee Corso, he's well known for his college game day appearances, but he was a former coach of Indiana, I believe. Les Miles, got this back during his LSU days. He's definitely got a Hall of Fame resume, but given some of the allegations and stuff and all that came out, I wonder if he ends up being held out when he is eligible. Hall of Famer Lloyd Carr, longtime Michigan head coach. First address I sent to, got a return to sender, and then found a second one for him. Was able to get him there. He was inducted in 2011. We have Lou Holtz, inducted in 2008. Longtime I mean, he bounced around to several different teams, but I think he's probably most well known for his time with Notre Dame. Hall of Famer Mack Brown, who is, I think, the only active Hall of Famer. He was inducted and then came back to North Carolina for a second stint and has continued to add to his win total. Mark Nofri of Sacred Heart. Mark Stoops of Kentucky. Mark Whipple. He ended up signing both of those on the back. I don't know why I'm displaying it at the front where you can't see the autograph. Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell. This is former Texas Tech head coach Matt Wells. Buffalo head coach Maurice Linguist. Hall of Famer Mel Tiersma, who again won some FCS championships. Yeah, three national championships with Northwest Missouri State. I believe that was FCS. Michael DeZormo, who is now the Louisiana head coach. He's also their former quarterback. Mickey Matthews. Mike Bloomgren of Rice. Mike Leach. Now that I think about it, I think he's the Texas Tech head coach. I always have him and Dana Holgorsen mixed up for some reason. I don't know why. Mike Locksley of Maryland. Mike London. He is now the William and Mary head coach. Mike Minter, former NFL player, now the head coach of Campbell. Mike New of Ball State. Mike Norvell didn't sign my photos, but this appears to be authentic. Florida State head coach. Mike Price, former UTEP head coach for a long time. Mike Shula, short-time Alabama head coach, and got him while he was with the Denver Broncos coaching staff. I almost fell. Mike White, former California head coach, also coached the Raiders for 2 seasons. Myers Hendrickson. Yeah, I don't remember. Western Illinois is where he's coaching. Neil Brown, West Virginia head coach. Pat Fitzgerald of Northwestern. He is in the College Football Hall of Fame as a linebacker. Pat Narduzzi, Pittsburgh's head coach. Paul Christ of Wisconsin. Paul Peterson of the formerly named Dixie State. I think they're becoming Utah Tech this season. Paul Rhodes, formerly of Iowa State. Paul Wiggin, he was John Elway's head coach at Stanford. Paul Wolf, former Washington State head coach. Pete Golding is the defensive coordinator for Alabama. I've tried writing to some of the assistant coaches that haven't gotten a head coaching spot yet, in hopes that maybe one day, with after being with a successful program like Alabama, they could become a head coach somewhere else. So we'll see where he ends up going if he ever does leave Alabama. Pete Shinnick of West Florida. Philip Montgomery, recent return from Tulsa. Philip Fulmer, Hall of Fame head coach for Tennessee. He coached Peyton Manning during his time, inducted in 2012. Randy Edsall, former UConn head coach. Ray Alborn, he signed one of the photos that I sent on the back, included a really nice note there. Ray Goff, former Georgia head coach. R.C. Slocum inducted in 2012, longtime Texas A&M head coach. Rich Brooks, former Oregon and Kentucky head coach. Rich Wright, current Northwest Missouri State. Rick Chamberlain signed these on the back. He is the head coach for Dayton. This success is really cool. So Rick Stockstill of Middle Tennessee. He's a former quarterback for Florida State. He is now obviously the head coach here. And then I sent this photo as well. Not sure how easy that is to see. And that is his son and former quarterback Brent Stockstill, who is now on his coaching staff. So he had him sign that as well. And he included a photo of his own. So that was a really, really nice success to receive. Rob Ambrose of Towson. Robert Prunty. I think that's Hampton. Rod Milstead. Ron Cooper. Ron McBride, this is another recent return, longtime Utah head coach. Rudy Hubbard, he was inducted in 2021. He was a head coach for Florida A&M. Russ Huseman of Richmond. Ryan Silverfield for Memphis. Sam Washington for North Carolina A&T. Scott Loeffler for Bowling Green. Scott Frost for Nebraska. Scott Satterfield for Louisville. Scott Wachenheim for VMI. Sean Kugler, formerly of UTEP. I think he was or is part of the Arizona Cardinals coaching staff. Sean Lewis. That is for, who is that for? Kent State. Former New Hampshire head coach Sean McDonnell. Shane Beamer, the current, I think he's the South Carolina head coach. Yeah. Sean Clark of Appalachian State. Photo of him with Purdue. Sean Elliott, Georgia State. Sonny Cumbie, I think he's the new, is he the Texas Tech? He might have taken on a different job. I don't know if he's the Texas Tech head coach. Sonny Dykes, who is now the TCU head coach, sent that while he was at SMU. Steve Englehart for Presbyterian. Steve Sloan, he was also a college quarterback. I think he played in the NFL as well. Recent return, Hall of Famer Steve Spurrier, former Heisman winner, former NFL quarterback and punter, AAF head coach, NFL head coach, but best known for his college coaching career. Tim Albin, he is the new Ohio head coach, took over after Frank Solich retired. Tim Lester, Western Michigan. Tim Murphy, Harvard. He's held that position since before I was born. Sign both of those on the back. Todd Graham, formerly of Hawaii. Tom Allen, IU, Indiana University head coach. Tom Anstutz, got this recently for sending out to some Toledo head coaches. The marker he used did not stick very well, so that's very hard to see. Tom Masella. Tom Matukowicz. Hall of Famer Tom Osborne. Hall of Fame 1999. I believe he has 3 national championships with Nebraska. Tommy Bowden, Bobby Bowden's son, coached Clemson. Been trying to get Terry Bowden with no luck. Tommy Tuberville, former Cincinnati head coach. I think he coached Auburn too. And he is now a senator for the state of Alabama. Tony Elliott, he was a guy that I meant to write to while he was with Clemson. Didn't get him then. He got hired by Virginia, sent there, and I was able to get him. So glad I didn't miss out on adding him. Tony Triciani, Elon University. Trey Oliver. Troy Calhoun for Air Force. Urban Meyer, got him after the NFL season. I originally got stamped autographs from him when I sent to the Jaguars. There was a home address that had been out there for quite some time, sent there, and he's returned quite a few requests that I've seen. I'm really surprised about that. Hall of Famer Vince Dooley, former Georgia head coach. He was inducted in '94. Vincent Dancy for Mississippi Valley State. Will Hall. He might be the Southern Alabama guy. Will Healy for Charlotte. And Willie Fritz for Tulane. So, whole bunch of head coaches there. Going to break down a few more numbers here as I end this recap of the collection. But for all the active head coaches, I mentioned a lot in there, and there's quite a few I don't remember exactly what school they're coaching at. But last I checked, I have 76 of the FBS head coaches, 56 of the FCS, 5 active Division II, 2 active Division III, and 1 NAIA. Now, the FBS, FCS, very well covered, very easy to find lists of who all the active head coaches are. Once you start getting down to the lower levels of Division II, Division III, and NAIA, it gets really difficult. So there are probably a few more head coaches that I have that I don't know of as of yet. I know, like, I got a recent return from Don Beebe, who is a Division III head coach at Aurora. So he's not featured in this video, but of course he is added to the collection. And then I've gotten quite a few of the championship winning head coaches, mentioned quite a few of them in here, but by the numbers, 31 FBS championships, 21 FCS championships, 19 Division II, 11 Division III, and 8 NAIA. So I'm really happy with how this collection has come so far. I've sent out to nearly every single Division I head coach. I think there's like 5 or 6 that I maybe couldn't find an address for, or I'm like 99% certain that they will not sign and they're not worth my time if they're going to do that. But took a gamble on a lot of these. A lot of them had no previous reports on sendouts that I could find, and I've had a pretty decent success rate. Over half of the FBS head coaches, approaching half for FCS, and a bunch of former champions and Hall of Famers. It's been a lot of fun. Been trying to expand that, drive into college basketball, college baseball, college hockey, and slowly adding to those collections as well. But this is probably the one that has grown the most in the past calendar year. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully this season is fun to watch, enjoyable for everyone, all the different teams that are out there. It's weird seeing what college football is going to. I think it's great that players are able to get paid for their name, image, and likeness, able to make money off the fact that they play the sport, not being paid directly by the institutions. But it sounds like they've found a way to turn that into a thing via loopholes and whatnot. And this realignment and potential super league is just very, very strange. But hopefully it'll still produce a good product of some fun football to watch going forward. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Helps me out a lot. Best luck with your guys' collecting. Take care.